in Aries. Justice prevails. I am Tammy Antoinette. I am an ancient sidereal astrologer. I practice astrology as it was practiced in ancient Mesopotamia, Babylon, Sumer, Akkad, ancient Egypt, and ancient Greece. If you'd like to know more about this type of astrology that I practice, you can see my video titled, What is Ancient Sidereal Astrology and Why Do I Practice This? So October 28th, the partial lunar eclipse is seen over Africa, Europe, and most of Asia most prominently. And this is the culmination of the lunar cycle that began right after the solar eclipse, when the moon appeared in the sacred Hermetic degrees of Scorpio. This has been a month of heightened emotional energy for all of us, with the moon bringing extra sensitivity since its appearance of the first lunar crescent in Scorpio after the solar eclipse, which I reported on 2 weeks ago, if you'd like to look back on my solar eclipse predictions. And these eclipses have been bringing up injustices, dark truths that are hard to look at, and karmic debts to the surface so that what's wrong can be seen, brought to justice, and healed. This lunar eclipse begins at 9 degrees Aries and ends at 10 degrees Aries, which is associated with Israel, Afghanistan, Western Europe, especially Germany, France, and Britain. These locations and the areas where the eclipse can be seen can experience more challenges, dangers, and war can intensify. There can be drought, heat, and plague, sudden deaths and destruction of cattle and sheep. However, Jupiter in Aries will bring justice, show the truth, and restore balance. These challenges will be resolved. With a fast moon at Perigee this past week, we have been experiencing an amplification and a heightening of emotional sensitivity even more so. So this is like triple extreme sensitive moon that's been happening. This can be contributing to greater anxiety, fear, and more carnal desires all over the planet. This lunar cycle that's now in culmination has not been a good time for new beginnings, but it is a very good time for healing the shadows that have been presenting themselves, and for communing with nature, for healing, and for restoring equilibrium. The times around the eclipses are not to be feared, but it is the time to be more careful, especially with travel and with making new decisions. This is a very fated time of change, so be diligent with your spiritual practices to bring greater harmony and to stay in the calm eye of the storm so that challenges are faced with grace and fearlessness. This way, you'll make right decisions quickly to restore the balance. October 29th, we have invisible Mercury in Mars conjunct opposite Jupiter. So they are in Libra, opposite Jupiter in Aries, which is also active during the October 28th lunar eclipse. So moral conflicts can be more prominent, whether that's coming from within us or reflected from someone else. Wealthy, high-positioned people can encounter more danger, but this will reveal the higher truth. I want to place emphasis that this weekend to be extra careful while traveling, and be sure to watch over your children with extra love, protection, and care. Also, I want to add an update of the solar energy since we just had this solar eclipse. We also have even more balance being brought because we are entering a peak time of solar activity within the solar cycle that we are in, that began in December of 2019, and it culminates early in 2024. So we will see more fertility on the planet, being increased. Many more souls will be born who harness the solar energy of rightful leadership. And the height of the solar activity has always brought revolutionary war all through history, to be expected in 2024 and 2025, and with a change to the monetary system. With this being said, this peak of the solar cycle that began in December of 2019 with the pandemic can bring more justice and balance back to the planet. We also expect another comet to appear next year, which I will report on soon. So be sure you subscribe by hitting the subscribe button below, and also subscribe to my newsletter so you can be the first alerted to these predictions and these remedies and solutions, and be empowered with the knowledge to live in a higher state. So you can subscribe at thestarqueen.com/blog. I will leave these links in the comments below. So these times of great change are not to be feared. They are simply the natural cycles that are here for our learning, to bring truth and to restore balance. When you commit to keeping up with your spiritual practice, and you stay in a state of gratitude, compassion, and with an open heart and positive expectations, this is exactly what you will create for yourself. Whatever you focus on grows and expands. This is how you stay protected. And if you saw my predictions about the eclipse portal opening and October's waves of power, you have the knowledge already and foresight to deal with the changes, as it is just a part of the cycles that we are in for our learning. What we decide to do with our free will and where we decide to focus our thoughts and prayers is what makes a ride through sudden, unknown changes beautiful and graceful, or fearful, stressful, and with suffering. Choosing to be very diligent, courageous, and discerning towards what we read, watch, listen to, think, pray, and believe is what makes the difference in where we are headed. This is what predicts our future, especially in such profoundly pivotal times. So are you using these pivotal times for your personal development, to cultivate greater courage, gratitude, and to stay open to miracles and opportunities so you can rise above and co-create a more beautiful world? Or are you turning on the projected, elusive, deceptive images on screens and reading the news so that what is happening way out there, outside of you, causes a major disruption and fight or flight fear response, contributing to constriction, limits, and suffering? This is how the darkness gains much strength and power, by projecting the images and stories out into the collective for us all to see, feel, and then embody. The dark powers are amplified greatly in this way. But we have a choice. We can decide to become the courageous warrior and focus on what's right, or we become the victim of the projected fear by focusing on what's wrong. It is your decision which way you contribute to the story for us all. We are very powerful co-creators. What we decide to focus on in times like this is what creates the future of the planet. Where you put your focus is what grows stronger. This is the universal law. As within, so without. So I'd love to know, what are you focusing on to courageously co-create a more beautiful world of miracles for us all? Which polarity are you choosing to shift into with your thoughts and prayers? I'd love to know what you are choosing to powerfully amplify to contribute to the direction of our world changes. So leave me a comment below or send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. I pray for much love, joy, gratitude, courage, and miracles for all.